Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warmer than warm round of applause for Steve Amick.
What's up? What's up? All right. At the end of the third grade, the teacher took me aside and said, "I'm really glad I had you in my class. It wasn't always easy, Steve, but I think I'm going to be able to say I knew you when, and you're going to be famous one day." And I thought, that's a weird thing to say to a child. And then I kept hearing it, like, continuing years. And maybe it's something that a lot of teachers said to a lot of kids. But by about the 5th or 6th grade, I thought, okay, I can't take the pressure. Shut up. Because what if I'm not, you know? And I'm not. And you could make the argument that I did a lot of the things that they were talking about, like with writing. And I've published a couple of novels that were well praised in the New York Times. But I walk down the street here, and nobody knows who I am. I'm not making a killing at it. It's whatever. But the ironic thing is that in that first class in the 3rd grade, there was someone who probably needed that talk. And because halfway through the school year, 1973, at Pattongill, we got a new kid in the class, and he was told to stand up and introduce himself, and he did, with no embarrassment, very sure of himself. He said, "My name is Jim Harbaugh, and we moved here because my dad's going to help win some more football games. And when I'm older," I swear he said this, "I'm going to be the quarterback for the Wolverines." And believe it or not, nobody really guffawed. It was kind of a strange announcement, but I think a lot of people wanted, to go to a football game, and they were butting up to him. And it was time for recess, and everybody was saying, "Jim, we're going to play basketball. Do you play basketball? You want to be on my team? Hey, Jim, be on my team." And putting their arm around him, really welcoming, and they go out. And I don't know why, but for some reason that day, I didn't go out to the playground. The only theory I have is that I was either injured, which is possible, or I was in trouble, which is maybe even more likely. But I had this cartoonish before and after view, because they come back in, everybody's all bedraggled and red-faced and screaming, and there's been a melee to the point where the teacher can't start class. She has to say, "Just sit down, we're going to sort this out. Now, what happened out there?" And all the guys said, "He wouldn't pass the ball." And she said, "Jim, is that true? You wouldn't even pass to your own teammates?" And he said, swear to God, "Why would I? I'm better than all of them." and from then on, at least at Pattongill, he was known as Jim Hogball. Now, there's 2 more parts to this. I was also on the Little League team at Pattongill, and we were city champs 2 years in a row. We had great players, and then we had me. And I just played because my friends played. I was terrible. My mom said, husky. And so I'd wear like a Hawaiian shirt and, the high tops and stand out looking at clouds in the outfield. And they go like, Amick, come on, we're up. What are you doing? And, I'd have to come in after everybody. And when I'd go up to bat, there was a big heavy sigh. So one night, word comes down from my mom that if I get to base, she's going to buy me a scoop of pistachio almond fudge at Baskin Robbins. And there's some chuckles about that. And then a little later, my sister comes down with the message that Doug Rogers' mom, my friend's mom, is going to up the ante. So I'll get 2 scoops of pistachio almond fudge. And now people are talking about it. And so they call me up to bat, and I'm going over and I hear behind me Jim Harbaugh going, "Come on, ice cream, Amick!" And I'm kind of chuckling, and I look over, and he's got everybody. He's in front of our benches going, "Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, Amick!" And I hit it, and I got to 2nd. And so Harbaugh not only gave me my Little League name, but I think that you could argue that may mark his very first experience coaching. Okay, so the third thing is, this team that we were always up against, our rivals, they were a tough bunch of guys, tough kids, and we were visiting them. We were on their playground, and it was not going well. It wasn't a nice, friendly game. And we always did well because we had a bunch of talented kids, 3 big guys particularly who could both pitch and hit. Harbaugh was one of them. But he was also a little uncontrollable, kind of a hothead, and very high tension. And he did a lot of showboating stuff. So before he'd even get in the batter's box, there was a lot of this stuff and this kind of herky-jerky, routine that he had to do. And I think we called it pimping, but it was like this showboating thing. And he'd, knock his cleats and bring it up and then bring it down, bring it around, do this. And all the time he's just talking to himself because, Mark Fidress is really big back then from the Tigers. So he's talking to himself, "Well, come on, baby, you can do it." And he's doing this whole thing. And then the pitcher has to wait for him. And then he steps in and he gets a strike. And the guy's kind of smirking, and he says, "Okay, come on, baby." He steps back, he does the thing, all this stuff. And they're just waiting around. And he does the whole thing, and he steps in and he gets a strike. And now they're openly laughing at him. You know, like, look at this fool. Come on. Like, everybody's coming in. Like, check it out. Look at this clown. Bah! They're laughing behind their mitts. And he is still doing it, but now he's red-faced and he's pissed. And on our team, we're going, you're making a mistake. Don't laugh at him. You'll be sorry. And he jerks it out of the playground. I mean, over this fence, this chain link fence, trees, into an apartment structure. It hits the top of a carport roof, and it's just gone, completely gone. The guy is like, what? You know, they're standing around like, and he tosses the bat and just slow walks around the bases in your face, taunting them. And we get up on our feet because, you know, yeah, he's an ass, but he's our ass.